Yes, I took time off to watch the earliest possible screening of Madam Web to watch on Valentine's Day morning alone. Why wouldn't I? And that's not even it. Okay. Uh, there was nothing running, so I had to walk 20 to 40 minutes to go see it. Um, uh, because I didn't want to spend any more money on the films because boy, tickets are expensive as hell. To get an Uber there and back, which would have been even more than the cost of a ticket, like double, well, almost double. Uh, but at least I arrived less than 5 minutes before it started, thanks to commercials, even though I was running like 20 minutes late. uh, and just enough time to get some mints, which was what sustained me through the film. Like, I'm halfway through them. I mean, I did take some on the way back when I came back. Uh, I mean, because once again, because I didn't want to spend any more money on the film, no popcorn, no nothing. Uh, and that's not it, because you know what arrived when I came back? This Spider-Man No More. I mean, it's wet through. It's sweat, of course, because I've spent a total of 80 minutes. Well, approximately rounded up. I maybe walking. Thank God it's not. It's winter. Hooray! Ugh. And you know what I thought of the film? uh, it was meh. It was meh. It was nothing special. But you know what? I might even be the most dedicated Madam Web fan after today. Oh. But yeah, so yeah, the movie wasn't anything special. You know, maybe I might want to reposition myself here. Um there was one moment that was where I had a big reaction to it, and it was positive. I might as well get into spoilers here. So, spoiler warning. I mean, I don't know. It's I've tried to be as nice as possible, but now that the film's out, I'm gonna be honest. It there wasn't anything big to the the uh the anticipation, the lack there is of, I don't know, of like positive, like wow, it's gonna be great. Positive anticipation, like heck, even the it's gonna be so bad that it's gonna be good anticipation. It's just it wouldn't be worthwhile. It's not worthwhile for the film. uh, uh but yeah, let's get into it. So, I might as well start with the positive here. That big moment, the positive moment, if I can even call it that, uh, was the fact that the baby Peter stuff, that like supposed leak, um, it wasn't significant. It didn't play any part in it. Thankfully, he was not even like a significant part of the film, well, sort of, but like his birth, uh they didn't even name drop him. So it's like it might as well just like barely be relevant. Only the fans, like the of only Spider-Man fans that have made the connections, like, oh, Ben, Uncle Ben, oh, the baby's probably Peter. uh Yeah, and there's no Richard, actually, just Mary. No May. They didn't even name drop May. It's like there was a moment with like Cassandra, who's called Cassie for this, and Ben. They're friends. They're paramedic friends. Um, it was like, yeah, like they mention May, like, yeah, they have a serious relationship. It's like she was able to pick up on that, and that's apparently a big part of why he didn't mention her for some reason. Like he asked for her name, and he just stayed silent. It's like, oh, seriously, is that serious, huh? Oh no, like is it bad luck to mention a significant other like that by name at least? I don't know. But yeah, not so significant that it was they were it was so significant that apparently they didn't see each other for a week. I'm not sure. Like apparently, maybe I don't know. I mean, I'll get into that part later. Uh, so yeah, Cassandra Webb, or the Amazon. It starts with the Amazon flashback. Yeah, unfortunately, there was no moment in the film about how Ezekiel was with his mother in the Amazon researching spiders right before she died. Unfortunately, they chickened out on that. Oh. Right. Oh boy. Don't want to get into my predictions now. Oh, screw it. So yeah, I did a video a few days ago, a bit too late, about my predictions for the film. And well, I figured out some of them right. So yeah, I said it wasn't gonna be boring. I mean, I think my tolerance is kind of high. So what? I don't know. No, I mean, I typically do. Sometimes I will like think that, oh, maybe I probably won't enjoy this because it'd probably be boring. I mean, I don't know. But what I'm saying is it wasn't boring to me, but it also wasn't all that like interesting. I don't know, like interesting in case it wasn't like amazing. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad at the same time. I don't know. It's middling. It's very middling. It's a very baseline kind of movie. Um, there wasn't any camp like outside of Ezekiel's suit. Oh boy, I like his like. There's a Peter in this film. Is he gonna like dress up as like dress up in a similar suit to a killer? Like he kills multiple people for this film, and he's gonna kill some teenage girls. Oh boy, that's another thing. um. So yeah, I should just got all in. It's like if they were going with this, it should have just got all in. It was more like a horror film sort of vibe. I don't know, like something like Final Destination or I don't know, Happy Death Day. I haven't really watched that film, but it's kind of like that Groundhog's Day type horror sort of thing. And yeah, I guess Ezekiel's kind of like a slasher. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So it's like a pseudo horror film in a way. Next the ranking. I don't know if this is better than Morbius. I don't know. I mean, because with Morbius, like there was Lucian. Like, that film was carried by Matt Smith. Like he carried that. So oh boy, does that mean that Morbius is better because of that? Because yeah, there was at least that. There's no meme potential to this film. Like I was saying, it's not so bad that it's good movie. It's just middling. So yeah, I might be wrong on that, but I mean I don't know. It's like balancing out. It's like Morbius kind of has like I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, and yeah, I overestimate. I thought they were gonna go camp, but no. No giant spider, unfortunately. I was right in the fact that these adapted characters aren't really adapted characters. They're just their own characters. Are kind of, I guess it's kind of like Spider-Gwen kind of does a similar thing. That's an alt universe, and they actually do it well. Yeah. So yeah, outside of names and costumes and powers, like other than Ezekiel, Man, and Webb, they're totally new characters. Like, the personalities are very different. Like Uh, like this Maddie Franklin is quite mean spirited. And Julia Carpenter, it's not even Carpenter because, well, again, yeah, I guess she isn't married yet. She's only a teenager. It's not an adult. They changed her name, her age, and her name, I guess, in a way, to be younger, to be the same age as them, and well, technically they're all. I guess you could say that also Maddie and Anya are older because this is a flashback. They're older than Peter. They're born before Peter. They still have the Jonah relation, though they just mention him. They don't really say much. They just say that he's her uncle. I don't think they mentioned that he worked for the Bugle or anything, or worked for him. Yeah, he owns the place, but there was no mention of the Bugle. Just him, just the fact that he exists. Just an Uncle Jonah. I wonder who that is. Some Easter eggs here. Which might be surprising for people that didn't know about Maddie at all. So yeah, before Spider-Man, so she's not like a big Spider-Man fan like she is there. She's also nowhere near as I don't know a better way to say it, pleasant. And then we have Julia, who is well, she's a nerd. That to me, that's not an insult. I'm a nerd. Yeah, they made her a nerd. With Anya, I can't really I couldn't really clock Anya's first note. She sounded like it in between both of them. Really. I forgot to mention that Uncle Ben isn't a big, cheery, happy family guy that you expect Uncle Ben to be, but I assume that's supposed to happen off screen as Peter ages. And also, Madam Web or Cassie isn't all mystical and everything. Though, I mean, by the end, it appears to be that she's heading in that direction. It seemed like she had her Anya had her gadget there. I don't know. I'll be honest. I've only read through the first 6 issues of Amazing Fantasy Volume 2, which is Origin Story. I talked for too long, so there we go. Other than her appearances in Spider-Man and Spider-Verse, Julia power changing. I mean, I think they made her psionic webs more, more like energy. I mean, they kind of do look like that sometimes in the comics. They're still webs, but they look more energy like. But yeah, I never expected that they wouldn't even have powers. Like most, my predictions were kind of based on that this movie would be super campy and that they would have powers. But no, that's a future prediction from Ezekiel, which that's a thing that he has. That's one of my right predictions there. I mean, though, I think the trailers did allude to that. They mentioned the fact that he could see the future, which he can't in the comics. The fact that I guess the closest thing that or he doesn't really have his iconic look. I mean, I guess you could say iconic. I mean, I don't know. It's like you have to read 2000 Spider-Man to know about him, really. But yeah, he barely in the film he barely looks like he does in the comics, because he goes right into a suit for the majority of the film. So yeah, he's not really like Moreland. Boy, I don't want to I'll go into that later. And with Madam Web, I was incorrect in thinking that she had super strength. She seems to have some form of astral projection, which I've never seen the original her. Well, she is the original Madam Web. Have that? Okay, she does have astral projection, though I don't recall her being physical in that ever, like actually being able to interact with the world there. So with great power, with great power change. Oh, how was I supposed to? how was I supposed to guess that that there was gonna be a version of the Spider Society, but they were gonna make it like some ancient, like some age-old Peruvian tribe, relates to like spider gods and spider totems and all that stuff. It's all like mystical stuff. A guy there says it, so it's all about context. But I mean, it's not really the best life lesson, you'd say. It only works within that context. Because otherwise, yeah, it can be very misconstrued to like sound like something that a dictator or a corrupt politician would stand by with great responsibility. With here comes great power, something like that. Yeah. He already knows. So Ezekiel already knows the spider totem lore. They don't really say spider totems there. Just talk about the tribe and the powers that they have. The Arañas. It's kind of funny because it's like one of the characters, Anya, is supposed to be Araña, like Superior called that. Though, yeah, she seems to have her Spider Girl costume there. But yeah, we don't even know what they will call themselves there in the future, because they'll be superheroes in the future, the three of them. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a final piece. That might be a stretch on there. The how right was about that. He was desperate for that. He was desperate trying to find that spider. That'll give him powers. So yeah, nothing special. Just a regular death. He does die. I mean, it's like half a point there. I did think he was going to die. Like, I didn't think he was gonna get still like put away somewhere. Yeah, he was gonna die. The slasher's fate, I guess. But I mean, I don't think he's gonna come back to life, is he? Madam Web 2, call it that. Oh boy, I really should have watched all the promotional videos first and not just the trailer. I did catch a glimpse of one, and they did mention something about that would have pointed to be an origin type movie for Madam Web. It wasn't like a typical 2000s tour of thing. Nothing, no powers or anything. So yeah, the rest of my predictions, unfortunately, are wrong. Except the fact that I watched it. I did watch it. And that's why I can talk about it. Yeah, going for the movie, it was not what I expected it to be. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the whole Spider Society tribe that they're gonna have in there. In Peru. Ezekiel's just like a bad guy. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so apparently, all you have to do, to meet someone, to meet a lady, is to exchange a magazine with her, and she'll come back to your place, and yeah, even if you're the kind of guy that would kill a bunch of people to steal a spider, and would rant about seeing these visions in your sleep about how like some teenage girls are gonna kill you. I guess no, I don't think he knew that. Yeah, that they were teenage girls. Oh, they weren't. Oh, it was supposed to be the future, so they would have been adults by that time. But how these three women were gonna kill him. There's this lady he just met that I took back to his apartment. Oh boy, yes, you don't want to do that. You don't want to like go for all these steps to see this strange guy, and then yeah, he kills her. So, I mean, oh, this lady worked for the NSA, and she went with this guy, this strange guy who she met in an opera, exchanging like a magazine or something with. Yeah, no, don't do that. Obviously, otherwise, yeah, something like that would happen. I mean, this crazy guy that's just gonna kill you. And he was just using her to get access to NSA systems. And boy, wow, who would have thought the National Security Agency was that? So yeah, would be would have such terrible security. Like not even any biometrics or anything. Just like, oh, here's a flash drive and some codes. Boom. You plug it into a system, and you got like this whole spy network that runs throughout the city. But it's also really, really terrible. Like, it's very, very easy to go off the grid. Apparently, like you can even like stay at this. You can even stay at like this random guy's house. Who is a guy that's on the grid, I guess, yeah. And you'd be safe there. Like, if they had not left his place, they would have been fine. But then there would be no climax to the film. There would be no conclusion like that. I mean, there would be one, but I mean, probably be easy to admit because at that point she would have understood her powers. So yeah. Well, why did they need to go to the hospital with them in the first place? Like, why? Like, they're not like they're teenagers. Like, probably like around 16. They can stay at home by themselves. They don't need to go with you. But I mean, I guess that was to make sure that they would be safe. But I mean, boy, weeks happened and nothing's gone on. The guy had an easier time finding them before, and for some reason they can't because they don't know about him. I mean, that would be, I guess, the logical conclusion to draw after a week of nothing. I'm presuming it's a week because yeah, she said that she was going to be away for a week, and oh boy, that's another thing. I feel like there's no sense of like, I mean, it's kind of like it's a dangerous spiral to fall into when you're trying to like think of realism, but inject realism to fiction here. But I mean, it's kidnapping. I mean, it's not kidnapping. So they're being hunted by a guy with superpowers, and she's perceived to be a kidnapper. And it's like no one takes that seriously. Nobody takes that seriously at all. Like the police don't even like go very far into it there. Like there's a stolen taxi. They steal a taxi to get away from him on there's this guy that tries to kill him on the train. The one thing they do like find out is that there's a woman that kidnapped three seemingly, well, kind of did kidnap 3 teenagers. They never ID the taxi. They don't go into that. They never delve into that stolen taxi. I guess the guy that worked for I guess he didn't really care. He didn't phone it in or anything. So yeah, the investigation was just dead there. They stopped bothering. It's like, oh, I don't know. I whatever. Who cares? Just 3 missing teenage girls. Who cares? Realistically, they probably would have eventually ID'd the EMT that took away. Like, she even stole an ambulance as well. Like, what the frick? No one cares about anything. Like, realistically, she would have been caught. And and the hospital, boy, even more like so they don't delve deeper into these like 3 like random teenage girls like at the hospital with her. They never ID her. Seemingly, EMT Cassandra Webb is at the hospital, and there's these 3 strange teenage girls that she shouldn't know, and there's a report of 3 teenage girls that were kidnapped. And she matches the reports of like a 30-something-year-old like black-haired woman, and they're like she shouldn't know these girls. Boy, it's terrible. Nobody is competent. Like, not even Mr. like a guy that has like all the resources of the NSA at his house. Like, apparently he's just able to have that easily, and no one's able to be like, hey, this is some strange activity. So basically, someone could work for the NSA like and then be like, okay, yeah, time to go rogue, and no one would follow up on that. It'd just be that easy. Apparently. Oh boy, and speaking of competency, like maybe they're understaffed and like yeah, like they got EMTs running all over the place. Like Cassandra's needed there, she's needed there, or she's gonna be there. I don't know. Maybe this is like the one of the secret messages of this film is like, yeah, join become an EMT. They're understaffed here. Like you see Cassie like running around trying to like engage with this, kind of engage with that. It's like, oh, there's a guy that was I mean, maybe like there was a second unit that was able to take that guy that was like flipped over in his car, but then like, oh, should they have an EMT that almost drowned? They have to get to her because they were called to get to him, but then because it should fucking Ben, and then she ended up falling into the water in the car. Luckily, she was able to escape. Like, wow. And then he went to resuscitate her. Oh boy, and like some friend, like yeah, it's like who ended up dying. Like he made a joke about like just the other day, like yesterday, like she almost died, and he's like making a joke about that. So yeah, he ends up dying. Okay, so Ezekiel had these visions about these three women that were gonna kill him, and then somehow like NSA technology is able to create these like characters, like perfect descriptions. Like it's like straight up computer generated. Like they're actually, it wasn't even, they didn't even ID them yet. These were computer generated images of the three of them, these three people, these three women in his dreams, and he was able to perfectly render them. Like they're straight up photos. Like, what? I that would be great technology. I mean, it might cause some issues like with like ethical issues like with AI there. Topical. Oh boy, that's a whole other argument of like got people like making whole like cartoons and animations and films from their minds, directly from their minds. Apparently, they could do something like that, and he was able to like de-age them perfectly to how they would look today without the masks and that they were wearing. Oh boy, imagine being a superhero. It's like you have this technology that's able to just demask you. Also, keep in mind that this is in the early 2000s, but I mean, Marvel is kind of a bit futuristic sometimes. And then after doing that, and they were able to ID the three of them. They never explained it, but they were all like linked together, all three of them plus Cassandra. Cassandra kept running into all of them, and then it all culminated to them all showing up at the train station at the same time. All four of them. They never even dropped they never even mentioned the Great Web or anything, like as some explanation as to why they were all brought together. I swear she probably should like come up with the conclusion that she could see the future like way earlier. And then for some reason she went to like an eye doctor to wonder why she was being able to see into the future, even though it was also affecting her ears too. Like it's like that's not just eyes, it's ears. She was able to hear the future and it was pretty dang accurate. So yeah, it's way beyond like any normal like things. Like at that point it should have clocked in. Oh yeah, I can somehow see the future now. She's able to even see like a bird die from a pigeon dying from flying into a window. I mean, I know that can happen with like glass buildings, but I don't know. I'm not so sure about windows to apartments, like brick apartments. Maybe there's a slight chance of that happening. Like there's a slight chance of a pigeon pooping on you in your lifetime. It's unclear if because Ezekiel has that power too to see into the future, though it seems limited to I don't know, it's not much of that's explained very well. It seems to be limited to his death, like the vision of his death. Apparently it's like it was cursed because he took the powers of the spiders that he wasn't supposed to. You could reason that to be why they were after him. But then there's like this whole other sequence where where she has like a dream, like a vision within a vision. I guess. Yeah, that would be it. She has a vision to go someplace, and then she has a vision again within that location. Um, and Ezekiel was there, because he could see the future, and they're connected because of that in that one moment. But he can't really see the future. He can only he's only displayed the ability to see the future, um, like clearly with the girls killing him, the women killing him, and for the rest of the way he has to rely on the NSA technology to track them. It's like, yeah, the spiders affected them differently because they both seem to be they were bit by the same spider. I mean, they don't really see him get bit, but I assume he was bit. Oh no, but he didn't get bit. It was like her mother got bit, and then that transferred the power to her, and she eventually, it took like 30 years for her to formulate powers that she couldn't really control. Though he was perfectly fine. I don't know. It's like, is that like a it's like a second, almost a second stage puberty. It's like you get to a certain age and then you're able to have these powers. It's like, oh boy, Ezekiel doesn't look a day old, and neither do the girls in the future. Yeah, okay. Like how far? I mean, it's unclear how far ahead in the future that was. I forgot another thing. There was a moment in the film where she was able to see into the past. Maybe that was just because of that water, whatever, at the place in Peru with the Spider Society hangout. I don't know. Because yeah, she was able to see into the past and then interact with her mother, but. What? Is that the past or a different past or what? Because her mother wasn't bit by the spider until she died. That, I mean, sure, I guess that could have been a point where it would have been possible to talk when she was dying. Okay, maybe not. So he sees the visions and he comes to the conclusion that he has to kill them so they don't kill him. Which, I mean, he could have. There could have been other ways to go about that, but I mean, he's the same guy that killed a whole bunch of people and a pregnant woman for a freaking spider. I mean, he got something from that. Yeah. Eventually became rich. We see a bit of that. It's like, yeah, he doesn't want because he said he grew up with nothing as a. And so I guess he became rich. We don't actually know how he became rich, as well. But is it with that limited future sight he has, maybe, or with his powers? Did he steal with them? Like, does he have spiders? Oh, I don't think he has spiders. There's nothing. I mean, oh boy, considering that Peter's in this, yeah, I guess he could maybe come to the conclusion that. Like the spider bite, there is some sort of link between the spider sense and the future sight, the foreshadowing, the foresight ability that Cassie has. It's just like different forms of it, and I guess he ends up having both Ezekiel's power and her power version of that. I guess I am thankful that they didn't try to like rush all the origins of all three of the girls, because that's one thing I was really worried about. Sorry to interrupt this positive criticism here, but with some negative criticism, sort of, yeah. So if the suits barely appear in the movie, why did they need to like make the choices that they did? Like no white lenses, the too many legs on the Julia's spider. Like, what's up with that? I'm not a fan of those. There was the other half of the worry about them having so many characters that you don't really. There's not really much to them because the majority of the focus of the film was like her trying to Cassie trying to prevent him from killing them. Like, like I said, it's kind of like a slasher movie of sorts. And he ends up killing some other people, like some police officers or some guards. Whatever. I might have to watch it twice to get a full picture. Yeah, maybe I should take out a note. I should bring a notepad. Watch it again. Bring a notepad and scribble it. Scribble everything out. Make notes. So yeah, I don't really explore much about them, about the three girls. But yeah, they kind of had to make some new stuff there. The family situation with Maddie's almost the same. Yeah, dad was a rich businessman. Yeah, there was nothing about her mother. I do recall her not being the biggest fan of her dad, but I mean, that's about it. I think I haven't watched all of her Spider-Woman run. Watched? Read. I haven't read. So yeah, Ben and Mary, but no Richard or May. No mention of Peter's actual name. It's like it's almost like they were embarrassed or something. I don't know. Or maybe there's a stipulation in the contract with Marvel Studios. I have no idea. There really was no like sense of urgency. Like they really weren't like like I didn't talk about like how the girls like treated it as well, like how and Cassie, it's the severity of it, because you have like them going off to a diner, like because like people think they've been kidnapped. It's like they actually know who they are. They're described, because there's a guy that's like, hey, they're like the girls from the newspaper. Let's call the police. So it's like, but then what happens to that case then? I don't understand. Because if a guy can just like immediately, they'll be like, yeah, it's those guys. It's those girls. But they go off to a diner. Really, if they like if they had to like go, I mean, yeah, it's like they would eventually get pretty hungry. They should not have stayed for as long as they did. They should have just like gotten some food, like as much as they need to eat, and then get out. Then leave as quickly as possible. There was such a big risk to do that. It's like they could just completely forgot that there's this crazy guy that's going to try and kill them, and would kill them with ease. And then you have Cassandra, who's always like leaving. It's like, I have a hunch here. It's like there's no sense of urgency there. It just like spends a bit of time like reading for like an old diary, because she has a hunch that guy that's gonna kill them is related to something that her mother was researching in her book, and well, look, there's a picture of the both of them. Hey, that's convenient. I even still, she would have drawn the conclusion that, oh, this guy with spider-like powers, like the spider-like people, tribe of people that was mentioned in the mother's journal there. So she goes off to Peru for a week as well later on, to explore more about that. So leaving Ben to deal with that, but Ben like decides to bring them along when Mary's water breaks. Why did they need to come along? Oh. Everything was gonna be good, because there was even a moment where it's like, okay, searching friends and family of the missing, but never bothered to do that for Cassandra. Like they ID'd her later on. Like he like for some reason Ezekiel didn't care about like, oh yeah, it's like it might give me clues, but I don't really care. I'm only concerned about these three. Like if I look into the woman that took them, that seemed to for some reason know about him coming for them. Now, not bothered with her, but the woman that he was employing to do all this tracking on the NSA systems did, and bothered to do that. Not like it really went anywhere. I mean, yeah, I guess it was like a bit of a conversation, like, yeah, it's like, yeah, your mother, that really only played a part in the vision within the vision, which led to her going to Peru there. Alright, yeah. But yeah, no sense of urgency or anything. Like nobody's taking these situations really seriously here. Like I feel like, yeah, because Cassandra should have probably have like at least like try to explain maybe that. I mean, because you have like a guy that's like chasing you with like crawling on walls and has like super strength and just like boom touching people and killing them. She probably should have like said earlier like, I can see the future. In the future, that guy kills you or something. It took a while to get to that point where she was willing to mention that. A little while, like she had to drive to the woods. Like, yeah, very. It's very easy to go off the grid. By the way, just steal a taxi and drive into the woods and just stay there, and boom, their government and the police is totally not gonna be able to track you easily there if you A, kidnapped some people, B, like stole a taxi and drove into some woods. Easy peasy. Easy peasy off the gridsy. Yeah, I don't know if I have much energy left to talk about this. It's been an hour. You know, all I've had is some breakfast and mints. Some delicious mints. I don't think there's much else to really talk about the film. I think I might do a video where I go through how I would approach this film. I don't know. Not to be like I'm like this great writer, but yeah, just the idea. It's just some brainstorming. But yeah, this film, it wasn't it. At least I didn't waste money on Ubers. Exercise. That's worthwhile. You know what? Heck yeah. That's the best part of the film. I got some exercise, some good exercise there. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. Much love. The film wasn't great. It was, it's just middling. I'm not sure if I'd say terrible. Maybe I'm being nice. Maybe I don't know. I was never like, this film, because the one moment that would have made me go, is if Baby Peter was a part of this, like a big part of this film. Like, the chosen one. There's like, we gotta protect the chosen one, or like, yeah, there's this kid, he's gonna be the chosen one. Like any mention of that, I would have hated that. But they dodged that, so hooray! Good on them for keeping this as just a baseline film here, for me, personally, my opinion. Yeah. This is too long. I don't know if anyone cares as much about Madam Web to watch an hour long, almost, okay, 4 minutes. I gotta wrap this up. Those were my thoughts on Madam Web. I don't know. Craven, I don't think I'm gonna bother with Craven. I don't know. If there was a good enough reason to do so, like right now I'm just kind of doing this because I want to do it. This channel right here is barely a channel. Like no one's, like, I'm being frank, no one's watching, and because no one's watching, I'm not gonna torture myself by spending more money on a film that I Vorvius, El Muerto. I'm gonna count El Muerto, Madam Web. That's 3 strikes. You're out. No more side character villain movies. Like, come on. Black Cat. You scrapped that apparently. And Silver Sable. Those two could have worked, but no, you didn't do them. Those are the only ones I could think of really. That Marvel Studios may or may not own. It's really hard to say. I don't understand the rights, because yeah. But yeah, oh boy, a few seconds until it's the end. That's it. Bye. I didn't spend an hour on this. I'm done. Bye.